And we're rolling. Hello Internet, this is Ethan and today we are talking about global news. Now this is the first video of this channel today to be ever made because I actually felt that this issue was so strong and I had to bring attention to it that I decided to make a whole new channel on the day of Donald Trump's inauguration. So you can kind of guess what this video will be about. Today, of course, the president-elect was sworn into office and he signed just under shy of 50 executive orders. Okay, I'm going to read you that part. And today he signed just under 50 executive orders. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up this the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the contents of what he signed is what I have an issue with. So Isaac, I'm not sure if you can see what I'm seeing, but if you go into X today, you can see that pretty much is everything that's being talked about is today's inauguration, his policy to make the Gulf of Mexico be called the Gulf of America, which I have no idea how he's actually feasibly going to do that. That doesn't seem like it's possible.
Legitimately.
You're gonna have to get recognition from pretty much every country in the world, which is just not going to happen. Because you can't really just name different like a body of water and call it the Gulf of America because you want to.
Okay, with something like that, I think that's a similar attempt to saying he's gonna build a wall. Did he actually build a wall? No, not really.
He did mention that they're going back to building a wall across the southern border, but they will not rebuild the LA after the devastating fires that just happened, which I think is hilarious. But you know what? Maybe he's going to do that. I'll give him the benefit of doubt. Let's say he is going to do that. But yeah, he just signed an executive order today pardoning 1,500 incarcerations for the January 6th riots. How crazy is that? People break into the capital of America.
This is a big one.
And they're like, you know what? We're going to let them all go.
I mean, let's be honest here. Whenever a riot happens in America, everyone does a riot. They riot on the local GameStop. They riot on the local. Do they have EB Games?
Our EB Games is their GameStop. It's the same parent company.
Okay. Well, they riot at just the things they want to buy stuff. Like, for example, if I want a PC, I'd riot there. Like, there's no reason for them to riot. They just know that there's an excuse to riot, and they riot.
Exactly. But the fact that they can get away with this violence is truly astonishing. I want to talk about
anyway.
Yeah. I want to talk about a more serious issue that was brought up today. One of the executive orders that he did today. Let me get it up here. It was pretty much anti-LGBTQ issue. So if you don't know, Trump has signed an executive order that made it illegal to identify yourself as neither male or female. So in this case, non-binary. He made it so the government doesn't legally recognize this. It pretty much means they don't legally recognize trans people. Now, whether you are against trans people, whether you're for trans people, the freedom of liberty is pretty much being taken away from these people. Which I think is absolutely insane, especially in today's modern society.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I couldn't give quite a fuck if whatever they call themselves.
Yeah.
Like, personally, you can call yourself whatever you want. You can change your name. You can change whatever you want. And I don't. It doesn't really affect me. So why exactly would I care? Yeah, but I know. I get what you mean by saying it's apparently the land of the free, which it hasn't been the land of the free since what? Fucking.
Oh, it's never been
Obama?
the land of the free. It's been the land of the free for white people. But that's neither
it's
here or there.
The land of the free for anyone. No one's been I'm sorry. They talk about how they want this all free speech, but banning stuff like this.
It
doesn't exactly make anyone any freer.
It just seems very barbaric down here, down under. It seems very barbaric and a very non-progressive thing to do. Now, you might not agree with the whole mentality. That's fine. You're at personal liberty to do that. But taking away other people's ability to self-identify, I think that is where we should draw the line. Now, the reason why we have to identify this line is because it's going to be crossed time and time again unless we say, no, it's not okay. The fact that he's going to deny children from gender-affirming care, whether you're against that or whether you're for that, I think that's up to individuals themselves, but it's a personal liberty that if you're a parent of a child, that's something you should decide. For me personally, I don't agree with children taking gender-affirmative care, but I do not believe that the government has any right to interfere. Especially
I was about to ask you what you thought about children having surgeries.
Look, I personally think that they're too young to make that decision. But I do believe that it's a decision that families should make up. Like, it's something that the government shouldn't have a place in, especially given the current issues. But you know what? I can kind of lean towards maybe, you know what? Maybe this type of care should be restricted to only when you're 18 years old. But
Yeah,
my fear
I
is
think.
that this will be denied for all people. That's what I'm
Yeah,
afraid of.
personally, as long I, I don't think children are smart enough to know what
Hmm.
they want,
Yeah, and that's a stance of
and
what a lot of people
sometimes
take.
parents get scared when they say if you don't give your child this particular procedure, it's gonna harm them later in
Mm.
the future. So they panic. That's why there's a rise of like detransitioners that people don't really talk about because it like goes against all of this.
Yes,
And
well,
I
that's the
every
other
now and
side
again
of
I
the
listen to
that's
yeah.
the other side of the argument, which I think is important to be addressed. But I don't agree with the stance that they've taken, where they're just outright banning and pretty much vilifying trans people,
Yeah,
not
that I
allowing
don't
them to
like.
self-identify. Now, whether you're for or against children being able to have gender affirmative care, that's up to you. Like we've stated before, we're not quite on board with it, but we do believe in personal liberties, and that's something for the families to decide. What we are vehemently against is the fact that the government won't recognize trans people as individuals that they wish to be identified with. Us personally, we don't really care enough. If you wish to identify as non-binary, we will respect you enough to refer to you as such. But the fact that the American government seems to be placing a ban on this is something that I just personally don't agree with. But unfortunately, this is one of the lower issues I have for today's the executive orders that was assigned today. So that shows the magnitude of the issues at hand. One of the issues that he raised was that he was going to militarize the U.S. border, the southern border, to stop the apparent war on illegal aliens. I mean, do you have any thoughts about that? Personally, let me get it up.
They stopped the war on illegal aliens, like illegal immigrants.
Yeah, so that's a derogatory term that they use to identify illegal immigrants, aliens.
Um,
Yeah.
so what do you mean by stop the war? Are they gonna like shoot them down?
Trump did declare today that he is going to officially declare the Mexican cartel as terrorists. My personal stance on that is good for him. I mean, these are people who actively do crime, so I have to give him props there. Look, whether you're for or against the foreign policies, the executive orders that he's created for the border crisis, that's up to you personally. But what I do have an issue with is that he is trying to repeal a constitutional right. If you don't know, in America, if a child is born on American soil, they are protected and they are declared a U.S. citizen by birth. This is a right, and this is something written into the Constitution. Trump wants to appeal that. So any future citizen, I don't even know how to identify them anymore because he's trying to make it so they can't be citizens, even though they were born on American soil. So
For example, okay, it's another thing about you're right. How the fuck does that work? For
yeah,
example, if I myself as a non-white man was actually born in America and then I have a kid and when this happens, or is my kid just not gonna be American because I don't look obviously American?
no. So the whole issue regarding this is that let's say your mother, let's say this hypothetical, you and your mother, so your mother came from the Philippines and went to America, and then she was
Yeah.
pregnant with you, and you were born in America. Then by your birth in America, your birth on American soil makes you an American citizen by default. That is something that's in the Constitution of America. Okay, he wants to
Okay.
repeal that because the official or the unofficial term used to describe these children that are born on American soil to immigrant parents is called an anchor baby. The whole point of him is so that when they were born into American soil, the whole idea is that they'd be less likely to be deported off America. Now, whether you're for or against this, that's up to you. Honestly, I don't know enough about the issue to like pretty much comment on it. What I will comment on is the fact that he wants to repeal this constitutional right. Now, what I will comment on is the fact that he wants to amend this constitutional right. I want to get the wording right. I want to get the
Actually,
wording just right.
I'm
So
curious.
he wants to
What?
change the constitution.
Okay, Ethan. Personally, what do you think about illegal immigration?
So my stance on illegal immigration is pretty much that I believe the whole process should be more accessible so people can come into the country legally. if you are not in America or Australia or pretty much any country legally, you are breaking the law. Now I know there are personal circumstances, but the whole process itself is what's the issue. The fact that you can be waiting for years and years and years, and there is no process of appealing it or trying to speed things along. You can be on the wait list for 11 years and still never hear it back. So I think the whole system has to be reworked. And this is not just for America. I think this has to be for pretty much major, like all global first world countries. Now, because there is an issue. There is an issue at hand, yeah. But what I'm talking about is the fact that he's trying to change an American constitution to make it so that children that are born on American soil aren't classified as American citizens. So the whole argument is that he wants to change a constitutional right, but
I don't think you should change something so fundamental.
I think this is shows his hypocrisy. The fact that 50,000 children can die from gun violence every year. Gun violence is the highest killer of children out of all, like, in America. It's not obesity, it's not cancer, it's gun violence. And the fact that he will not appeal the amendment, the fact that the Republican Party won't even consider adding background checks because it goes against an amendment for the right to bear arms. I think it's hypocrisy at its finest, given the fact that he wants to make it so that children born on American soil can't be classified as American citizens if you have foreign parents. But he'll protect. Yeah. Sorry.
I think I know what he's on about.
Yeah.
Theoretically, if you have less American children being born, less American children die in schools.
Yeah.
So theoretically, those children wouldn't be American; they would be Mexican.
So Mexican children can die. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the statistics, they can say only this many American children got killed, and people would assume, oh, American. See, it's just a way to fix the numbers.
Yeah. I truly think it's crazy.
The reason we made this video is because we've realized there's too much hatred in America. We've realized that in the election, it wasn't about picking a good leader. It was about picking a leader that chose the more popular side. The only reason Trump actually got elected is because Kamala Harris went too much into hating men. She was just like, men, I hate ya. Women, I love ya. But
look, today's video wasn't just to attack Donald Trump. I'm not about that. I do criticize some of his executive orders today, but that's because I believe in the ability to freely speak your mind. If you were to ask for my personal political views, I would say I lean more towards the Republican side. But that doesn't mean I can't criticize the decisions made by the Republican leaders. The fact that everyone seems to be so against each other in America is an indictment on the actual system itself. I do want to talk about another point. This is why we have editing. We can just rearrange everything.
I know, right? I think our main point should be us talking about, like I said, is us talking about how America is just all about a war of conflict with each other. The only way for someone to get votes is to make sure that they're shitting on someone else. They have to pit each other against each other because there's no peace. Exactly. Like Kamala Harris was like, I love women, I fucking hate men. Like you saw all of her things. She made ads saying, you know what, men, we all fucking suck. So let's vote for Kamala.
She did alienate a large majority of Americans. The fact that Donald Trump won both the electoral vote and the popular vote.
Not just Americans. He just hated fucking men.
Yeah.
And the thing Donald Trump did, which was smart, is he's like, I hate women, but not as much as I used to. Yeah. So a bit of women would vote for him.
Donald Trump, I guess his team did a real masterclass on Instagram and TikTok. He did make use of social media a lot, which I guess is one of the reasons why TikTok might stay around. I'm not sure if he's trying to do a co-deal where the American government buys half of it, or I'm not sure on the specifics of that. You know, we're not American. I
don't think that they are.
The TikTok issue hasn't really affected us as much, but a large majority of Americans have fled to Rendo, and they're seeing that this quality of life in apparently communist China it seems to be a lot better compared to the quality of life in America.
I'm sorry. I'd rather be I'd rather be manipulated with peace than war. Like Xi Jinping has it all correct. Homie's like, okay, guys, I'm gonna control all of you, but I'm gonna do it in a way that you're satisfied with. I'm gonna control your lives, but you're gonna be happy about it. I'm not gonna make anyone fight. Yeah, exactly. He's not making anyone fight. Everyone in China seems happy enough. They're just like, there's no men against women. There's not a lot of racism. There's racism there, definitely,
Just
but there's
not
not
as
a
much
lot.
as they used to be.
Not much as there used to be, and not as much as there is in
Yeah,
America.
yeah.
America is the epicenter of racism. But in America, you know how they control their people? You know how they manipulate them?
How? Tell me. Enlighten to
They
me.
put people against each other. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll tell you. They put people against each other. They go men against women, they go black against whites, they go whatever against whatever. You can't have one group happily coexist. And there's
It
no other
just
way.
doesn't
It's
happen.
tough. I hate it.
Unification is seemingly getting further and further away in America. And that is an issue in most countries, but it seems to be very prevalent in pretty much any major political decision in America. You know, affordable
Government always has
healthcare.
to suffer because of it.
Yeah. Like controversial issues such as American healthcare, the education system, military spending. This it stands on the environment, especially with Donald Trump pulling out of the Paris climate treaty. The fact that they've decided to completely remove themselves from environmentally clean sources of energy. The fact that they want to incorporate more drilling into for American oil seems to just be damaging the environment as a whole. Now I understand there's no like reasonable solution, but the fact that they're pretty much giving up and trying to find a solution is what is really shocking.
Legitimately.
You know, I understand that the amount of carbon emissions like produce manufacturing giant windmills, and the fact that lithium batteries also produce a crap ton of carbon emissions. I'm not a fool. I do know the science behind it, but I do know that if we give up on trying to find a solution, then the earth is going to burn. That is a fact.
Okay. Anyway, to wrap everything up, the reason we made this channel is we want to talk about stuff like this. We want to talk about points, and we want to hear other
Yeah.
people's points.
America is a leader as a whole, and I feel like that if we don't address these issues, they will become prevalent in not just America, but in other countries. And the fact that Donald Trump has not only the CEOs of Google, Apple, Meta, X, TikTok, all under him, pretty much supporting him as we can see in his inauguration today. I believe that pretty much talking about this information is as vital as ever because we don't know how much misinformation will be spread.
I just think there's too much hatred in the world,
Hmm.
and the fact that America seems to be somewhat leading it in the way of like how to separate people and how to make how to make its own citizens fight against each other. I'm seeing that in Australia, and
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. I hate that we're so linked to America that their politics can easily seep into ours and their beliefs can easily flood ours. For example, I doubt anyone has actually read or done anything like read the terms of service of Red Note. But what China? Okay, it's gonna sound really weird, but what China likes to promote is peace.
Hmm.
It can sound like I'm actually Xi Jinping's spy, but no. It's sounding like I'm glazing China
You're
here.
pretty much Xi Jinping's like double agent. You know, you're trying to
Exactly, I'm actually Xi Jinping.
oh you're
That's why I love him so much.
trying to hide that thick
I just
Chinese
like
accent.
how it legitimately it's because like I think that it's so much more peaceful there, and why can't we have that? They're trying to
Hmm.
manipulate us anyway. No matter what we do, the government will try and manipulate us. At least they're manipulating them in a way that doesn't make them fight each other.
Yeah. Look, that's a very controversial stand. Maybe not entirely inaccurate. Maybe it is some merit to it. Uh, but I think we've gone over
Yeah,
a lot of information.
if you
So,
could have the groceries as cheap there as in here, I think I'm happy.
I mean, yeah, just have a belly full of wine, have a nice girl, and you'll be fine.
Have a hot pot.
Have a hot pot. I mean, yeah, he doesn't like Chinese. I mean, if we get a lot of Chinese food, I might be okay to Xi Jinping taking over. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
I've been practicing my Chinese. But in all
I was gonna say
seriousness,
Chinese sentence.
yeah. But in all seriousness, I feel like it's important to discuss these issues. If you disagree or agree with my stance, feel free to comment below. I know this video was not particularly well made, given the fact that we made it in quite a rush. There's not actually a proper script. I just felt like it was important to talk about this while it's still fresh. So future videos will be much more future videos will be articulated much more eloquently, but I feel like it was just important to have a start. Now, if
Yeah.
you'd like to see us talk about
And
this stuff live, we might create a Twitch account in the future. Maybe we'll talk about this with you, see your stance on it, our stance on it, have a dialogue. Uh, but yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe. We will talk about future global, not just American policies, but global policies in general.
And as a final note on that, if you have any favorable thoughts for Xi Jinping, please put it in the comments. I'd love to read them.
Yeah, he wants that Red Note sponsorship, right?
Yeah, I really want Red Note to sponsor me. Red Note, if you're there, Zhao Hangshe, as you're natively called, please sponsor me. I'd love the money, and God bless Xi Jinping.
Okay, so I'm for freedom of information. He's for the Chinese Communist Party. I think we kind of balance each other out, don't we?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time.